Emisija Razlog za razgovor donosi intervju sa Francescom Mari pod naslovom Petlja. U sklopu međunarodnog događanja koje promovira cirkus pod nazivom Noć Cirkusa 18.11.2023. u Velikoj dvorani Pogona Jedinstvo, zagrebačka je publika imala priliku uživati u vrsnom žongliranju talijanske žonglerke Francesce Mari u njenoj predstavi Petlja u utrobi žonglerke. Ova atmosferična predstava istražuje pokrete u apstraktnom snu, slobodno inspirirana mitovima i legendama Tonge, ženstvenošću i 1000 aspekata žonglerske discipline. Talijanska žonglerka odaje počast tradicionalnoj kulturi koja ujedinjuje žene u neizmjernoj radosti koju donosi jednostavan čin bacanja predmeta. Predstava nastaje kroz razgovor s različitim ljudima koje upoznaje na proputovanju Tongom. Petlja je inspirirana igrom Hiko na Tonganskim otocima, igrom u kojoj se voće, tui-tui orasi koji ima oblik lopte, baca u zrak po kružnom uzorku, uz ples koji izvode samo mlade žene kroz pokret, pjesmu i žongliranje. Kroz razgovor s Francescom dotakli smo se njenih cirkuskih početaka, interesa za Hiko i Tongu i njihov utjecaj na njen osobni i umjetnički smjer, njenom pogledu na život žena u različitim kulturama, cirkuskoj sceni u Italiji, suradnji s Gandini juggling kompanijom, osobnom estetskom smjeru i iskustvu izvođenja po cijelom svijetu.
Gardenia si otto sei managoa Allah kapuyai asi ete ofa hasi no mai ho tonga
Francescom Mari. I come from Italy and I start my career, let's say, as a street artist. And I start doing street show even when I was 18 and even during the university, which I study lettere philosophy. And then still liking to do street shows, I start 1 year of circus school. Then I auditioned for a company called Gandini Juggling in UK, and after I started working with them, and in the last 4 years I try to push more my personal research, especially with a show called Tangle, in the womb of a juggler, and I like it. In which I like to explore femininity in juggling in a different culture in a transversal way. Well, when I was 13, I went into a vacation with other young people. And some of them, I still remember, they teach me how to do 3-ball and also how to spin poi and this sort of stuff. And I really like it because I try all the time. I always been kind of good in sport. I was a volleyball player for a very long time. And I try music and that was very hard. And then finally I found juggling and I thought, wow, this is something that it really fit my brain and my body. I come to this idea for the show Tangle after that Tom Wall wrote the book Juggling from Antiquity to Middle Age. In this book is explore juggling in all the different ages, let's say. And it really take my attention the fact that in many cultures in the past, juggling was a thing for women, because men were more into the art of the war and combat, and women were the person that was more playful, stay at home with the kids and stuff. So in more than one culture, not just the Tongan one, where the woman actually playing with object, and I know everybody have the picture in their head of the women in Egypt, no, juggling in the tomb. There was images of that, and so I wrote. I read that book, and I was very fascinated by that. And also there was a full article in Cascade Juggling from 1992 or 93, I don't remember exactly, that was speaking about the culture of Hiko. Then I was in contact with Paprika Leverton that did the documentary Hiko in Tonga, and we collaborate and had a lot of chat. And then when I finally decide, okay, I'm gonna spend money and go and see this Hiko culture in Tonga, it was fantastic, because I met wonderful people in the way. I saw women juggling in the beach, throwing stone, and it was very fascinating. Then I met Losalio Milika Pusiaki, that is the head of the Tongan Academy of Dance in Auckland. And then I speak with her a lot, because I was worried that my project and my interest was sort of cultural appropriation, and I didn't want that. I was just a juggler interested in how the hell in the other side of the world juggling is for women. And it was very nice, because she got completely my project, even if she's defender of traditional culture, but she saw the interest of a juggler interested in a different type of juggling. And so it was a very good collaboration with her, because she explained me a lot of myth and legend in Tonga, and then I was sending her video about my juggling reinterpretation into their dance of the Hiko song. And it was great, because she was always so generous and so supportive. I think is for how much a culture can be different, I think women in the whole world have stuff in common, because we live in a patriarchal culture, no matter where we are in the world, and even what we call maybe freedom in express our femininity or decide to don't, it is a thing that is different, but there's also a lot of common point. And without any judgment, I enjoyed it to explore. And yeah, also in Tonga, for example, before there was a fantastic mythology about a goddess, and there was a matriarchal culture before the Christianity arrived and make, let's say, this very patriarchal culture. So I found all that more interesting to explore. Well, like it was written in the book of Tom Wall, the myth and legend that for me was more interesting and more suitable is, of course, the goddess Hikuleo, which was the underground goddess, so the after-death goddess. And there was a legend that also Losalio told me that the grandparents or the parents were say to the naughty kids that didn't want to go to bed and say, if you don't go to bed, then come Sikuleo and take your eyes. Or if a man was particularly bad, that there was this legend that say, she will take the eyes and play Hiko with your eyes. And there is another legend that for me was very interesting to explore, which is the one of Fehuluni, that was a day tree that has both sex. So if he found attractive a woman, he will become a man and vice versa. And I think that was a very good point to explore, because I think sexuality really is, we both have female and male inside us, and in different percentage and in all different sort of variation. And I found it was interesting because as a juggler, I can see the same way of thinking about a concept like a juggling pattern. You have one juggling pattern that can be transformed in form, in rhythm, and in infinite different ways. And I feel this is the same thing with our own personality and sexuality. So I thought this is a common ground, which is a bit crazy because we are talking about a juggling pattern and gender and gender reality. But yeah. I thought it was an interesting match. I can see that the most common ground is the playfulness. So I could see in Tonga when I arrive, first of all, walking in the market, in the main market of... So when I first arrived to Tonga, for me was very interesting that this playfulness created straight away a sisterhood between women. When I went to the market in Tongatapu, it was really like I was the white person in that the people wanted to sell stuff all the time. Buy this, buy this, buy this. And then when I was taking out the juggling ball and asked to the old woman that was there waving and stuff, I was like showing the juggling and say, can you do that? Can you do that? And this was straight away creating a situation in which they were like, I'm not very good, but let her try. And then was one taking the ball and try. And it's amazing because the old women more than the young one now, because they were young in the past when was not television, social media, phone, when they didn't have this stuff. They were more able to play. And so more often in Tonga, the oldest women were able to juggle 4 or 5 ball or nuts or objects. While now the young learn the dance and the pattern, the shower. But there is the hiko in the school of the Queen Salote school, because it teach as a traditional dance to keep the tradition alive. I don't play as much as I would like, but I hope wherever I go, the show gets a lot of positive comments. I don't think it's a show that is like bread and butter, because it's not good for all the situation. It's not good for all the public, all age. Not because it's offensive or there's nude or swearing. There's nothing like that. It's just really that is a show that has so much layer and entanglement of culture and different view that for a kid, the kid enjoyed the juggling, but it doesn't see all the layers. So that's why even in my technical fiche is written that is recommended an audience which is plus 12. For that. Mm-hmm. Because I think to enjoy the show, you need to have a bit of knowledge. I'm in a moment of my life that I'm changing living place. And I don't know, but I don't think about making a show, obviously, but it's just stuff that interests me. So now, because I'm moving in a place up in the mountain, I'm reading a lot about the culture there and the legend that is about this mountain and all this. Obviously, I'm just interested in that, and maybe we'll go somewhere. But yeah, right now I'm reading a lot about the Trentino mountains. Uh-huh. So, but I don't think this will be a show. I mean, I didn't even think that the Tongan thing will become a show, to be honest. I was just interested and I wanted to know more. In this moment, I want to know more about mountains. So that's it. This is a good question because I'm still trying to understand since I was living in London the last 12 years and I moved back in Italy. Well, I was living in London, the last 10 years. Or maybe I'm losing some years, I don't know. But a big chunk of my life was living in London. And then I moved to Italy after having a baby. So I'm in Italy, back in Italy, really from 3 years. So I open a company and I try now to understand how actually having a company in Italy works, even in a matter of office, founding, all this. So I'm still understanding, and the scene that I know more in Italy is still related to street shows and street festival, and there's a lot of work in that. I hope the contemporary circus scene will get bigger. I think is way better than 10 years ago, and I think it will grow even bigger. The project Solo But Not Alone, I was really, really lucky to be part of because especially my company wasn't even alive in a legally way. But the four big company in Italy wrote this project in an application founding, and was 4x4 of Milan, Dinamico Festival in Reggio Emilia, Circo all'incirca in Udine, and Magda Clan. And these four reality put themselves together and brought a fantastic project that involved international touring for solo artists, contemporary circus artists in Italy. And the project will support in touring by an international network on which you are part, of course. And yeah, so they phoned me and said, we could have one more show. And I say, yeah, I love to be the one more show that you can bring around. Because at the time, 2 of the shows of these 4 company were still in creation. So I think, because I'm not sure, they needed a show that was ready. And so in that way I was in, and I was so lucky because I was in from the very beginning. And the year after, the project became bigger, and other 5 artists now are on board in the project. And I think it's great because they are all fantastic people and fantastic project that they are making. With Gandini, we worked a lot in France, and of course the public in France is really used, and you can really push boundary. And the same show, for example, in China, and I'm talking about Smash, was censored, sorry. And so, yeah, I'm taking the 2 more different example, okay? But in the middle, there's all different approaches. Of course, you can see without concentrate on the single thing, you can see that where the sector of contemporary circus is more grown and where people is more used to see it, some show are taken in different ways. And I think it's very good because sometimes I felt maybe Tangle as well, my show, was taken sometime as I didn't really understand. And at the beginning I thought, oh, maybe it wasn't good. But actually, in the moment that you make the public thinking, and in the moment that they go home with interrogative point on what they see, maybe that's a good job done by the work. I think every type of show, if it's well done, is great. because the same thing could be very good or very bad. So I don't have a category like a good circus show trad. I could love something like that. Then a bad show is a bad show. So I'm the sort of person that buy every aesthetic if is well done and if the artist really believe in what is bringing. My personal style, I don't know how to define it, because then you see my street show have a totally different style and emotion and way of communicating with the public than my indoor show. So I don't think I have a stamp, and this is my aesthetic. I think each show need to have a thought about the aesthetic. What I think is a thing that I always use in my show is that the juggling is not just the juggling. The juggling is really part of what you bring in on stage in a more deepest way than this is my object and I throw it.
Slušali ste emisiju kulturnog radija Razlog za razgovor, koja donosi intervjue sa umjetnicima i umjetnicama raznih grana umjetnosti s ciljem približavanja njihovog rada široj publici. Pitanja sastavila Petra Bokić. Razgovor vodila, uvod i odjevu pročitala Jadranka Žinić-Mijatović. Snimio, tonski obradio i uredio Ratko Bokić. Kulturan radio, Cirkorama.